Welcome back to Galt's Garage. Today, you are in for a treat. We're going to finally do a clean out on the Langmuir Crossfire Pro. I've been cutting on this. I got the table in early August, I believe. And I've been cutting on it ever since. I've got hours and hours and hours and hours on this table. And I haven't cleaned it yet. The reason the coolant level is so low is because for the last 2 or 3 weeks I've been telling myself I'm going to clean the table, so I don't want to keep adding fluid to it because it evaporates over time. So I tell myself, you don't want to add any more fluid, you're just going to have to drain it out here and the next time you get a minute to clean it up. So I've been letting it get lower and lower and lower, and this is where we're at now. All the shipwrecks are starting to poke out through the surface. As you look through the table, you can see drops that are in there. I'm sure there's going to be just a mountain of crud in there. Not to mention the bars. The slats are they're not in terrible shape, really. This is mostly just sludge and crap on there. A lot of this is just going to wipe or pop right off. So cleaning the slats isn't going to be a big deal, but draining the table is that's going to suck. And then we have to remove all the slats. I'll scrape all the trash out of the bottom, fill it up with a little bit of water, wipe it down, clean it up, drain it again, and we got it nice and shiny and clean. But I do have a lot of this scuzz in the water, and that's from cutting galvanized, which I highly, highly, highly recommend against doing. It's really toxic fumes. It makes that nasty, scuzzy crap in your table. It's just, galvanized sucks. I only did it because I had this project right here, the powder coat oven, which is, I don't know, maybe 200 square feet of galvanized. So I needed quite a few sheets of it, and I got a great deal on it. I would have much preferred to use any other metal, but I really got that metal for a song. So I wound up using it, and now my table is filthy. So we're gonna get this thing cleaned up here today. I'm gonna try and set you guys up in a spot where you can see what's going on. It looks like I spoke too soon. I do appear to have a tiny little leak here. I've never even noticed that before. And I mean, it's hardly any leak at all. There's the leak right there. As you can see, it's not even a steady drip, so it's probably why I never noticed it. But I will see if I can figure out why that's leaking there. I get a feeling it didn't used to leak, and probably the torch passed over that section and maybe burned out a piece of the silicone gasket that's in there. We'll see. All right, let's get this done. Now that plug is out of there, you can actually see where the drain hole is. I'm going to leave you guys here until this thing drains out. Alright, so I'm going to pull the slats now, get them out of the way. That way I can start pushing all the remaining silt and sludge towards the middle. Alright, so we got our slats stacked up over here. Now we're going to pick up the slat holders, and then we'll start scraping all this gunk towards the middle. And it helps to have a scrap bucket for drops. So I got a feeling we're going to have a lot of that. But I also keep a scrap bucket full of drops that I might use someday down the road. Letters, stars, eagles, whatever it might be. We're going to clean the bars up, so I'm just going to dip into some of the liquid from the other side of the table. Use my brass brush here and just give it a little scrub. Stuff comes right off. That easy. This is the most abused sled I have, so I'm just gonna flip it over and start it on the outside where it's gonna get very little use. And you can see everything starting to break the surface now that the surface is going down. Like I said, this side is where I do most of my cutting, like the overwhelming majority. Alright, I'm going to get you guys up on the tripod again, start pulling slats, and get this thing done. set overnight. Got no leaks, so should be good to put water in. This table holds, I want to say, 12 gallons, give or take a gallon. If you're a little bit more level than my table is, it'll hold a little bit more water. You'll see when I fill it up, I'm off eighth, quarter inch, something like that. I think it tilts, I believe it tilts this way. I've got the water here. I'm gonna get some fresh plasma green, fill the table up. My old stuff, I'm gonna let it evaporate off. This stuff evaporates pretty fast. In the table, it evaporates about a gallon a week for me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let it evaporate off. Once it evaporates off, I'll scrape up all the silt, all the dross, all the metal, all the gunk. Just toss it out. It's non-hazardous. Plasma Green 1050 is environmentally safe. Here's the stuff I'm using. This is Plasma Green 1050. So what I'm going to wind up doing is, and I got it from KCI. So what I'll do is I will add, you're supposed to mix it 20 to 1, so 1 gallon to 20. I'll put probably 3/4 of a gallon in here. It's a little bit stronger than it needs to be. And you can go all the way down to, you're supposed to be able to go all the way down to 1%. I personally will never go below 5%. Doesn't seem to have a damaging effect on anything. I've used it at about 7 or 8% for the last, well, since I got the table. So I'm guessing that's about 4 months. Yeah, a little bit over 4 months. So I'm going to go ahead and put about a gallon of this into the different pails of water I've got down there. I've got about 12 gallons of water down there, 11 or 12, and that's about what the table holds, so that should be about right. It would have been nice if this jug came with graduations to mark off gallons. It didn't, so I put them on there myself. Oh, you gotta be careful when you put it in not to go too fast or it'll go right over that back edge. And there we go, that's all there is to it. Table's ready to cut again. So now I gotta put everything back under the table, get my torch hook back up, and we're ready to rock and roll. It's a pretty big difference between this and what it was when I started. Now you can even see the nuts and bolts on the joint. Well, that's all there is to it. Changing out your table fluid, it's not difficult. A little bit time consuming, but it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. So if you got, I guess 2 or 3 hours to do it right like this. You know, we got the side walls of the tub are all, the water table are all scrubbed clean, so it's not all brown anymore. It's looking pretty good. The slats look brand new. All I did was flip the slats over, and we now have a nice smooth surface to work off of. Not that the surface was a particularly big deal anyhow. I have the torch height controller on this table, so uneven surfaces haven't been an issue for me so far. At any rate, thanks for joining Galt's Garage, and I'll see you guys in the next video.